All right, one question for each game. We're going to start with that one. Pittsburgh at Buffalo. Is it all Steelers, Heath?
No, I'm not sitting Pat Freiermuth, and I'm probably not sitting Deontay Johnson. Like, if there's a 2 wide receiver league, I might have to sit Deontay Johnson. It's possible I could have 2 better options, but I'm probably starting him as well. I would like to sit Najee if I can, and everybody else is a sit, obviously.
Well, some people might be on the George Pickens bandwagon, but they're not interested.
I want to make sure he's rostered, but he 100%. We should not make too much out of 13 pass attempts for Kenny Pickett. I still project Deontay Johnson to lead the team in targets by a pretty significant margin.
Jamie, how about you?
I would be a little concerned about Freiermuth. You're probably not setting him because it means you have to make a transaction to carry a second tight end, but they are just amazing, and they did it again last week against Mark Andrews.
Yeah. Tennessee at Washington. All right, I don't know if these are updated. These rankings are updated, so you have to tell me. But as of now, where do you have Curtis Samuel?
Samuel will be where he is. Yeah.
Okay, so let's have a 60-second rankings dispute on Curtis Samuel because Jamie's got him about 32nd, and Heath 18th. Is that accurate, Heath?
That's accurate in full PPR, yes.
Okay, Jamie, 30 seconds on Curtis Samuel, why he's a number 3 receiver against Tennessee.
There are just other guys I like better than him. I think he's a fine number 3 receiver, but I'm not going to call him a number 2 receiver yet because he's got to score a touchdown to be in that range. So his 6 for 50 is great, but I don't think he's going to do much more than that.
Heath, 18th.
Yeah, I'm expecting 10 targets a game and 3 to 4 rush attempts a game. And he probably does need a touchdown to finish as a number 2, but most of the back half of the number 2 guys need a touchdown to finish as a number 2. So he's right in that range. If he doesn't score, then he'll be closer to Jamie's ranking. And if he does, he'll be closer to mine.
All right, Detroit at New England. I guess we already addressed this. Can both New England running backs take advantage of this matchup? Should I do a different question for this game?
No, we could just go to the next game.
Okay. Miami, yeah. So these guys do like both New England running backs, but what is the highest you have your favorite New England running back ranked?
Damian Harris is top 15 for me in both formats.
He's definitely top 15 for me in full PPR. I think I have Ramondre at 16, Harris at 18.
Okay. Next game, Miami at the Jets. Is Tyreek Hill the only must start in this game? Miami at the Jets.
Yes. No, I'd say Waddle's still a must start guy.
And if Breece Hall is a full go the rest of the week, then I'm calling him a must start too.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. Miami's run defense, though, pretty elite. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I don't.
It is very good. I think Hall will make some plays in the passing game. I think it'll matter. I don't think Zach Wilson's going to kill him like we thought maybe after at least 1 week. So, yeah, I don't think Hall has a monster game, but I think Hall certainly has a serviceable enough game to be a top 20 running back.
Starter sit Brandon Cooks. Only 7 targets in each of the last 2 games. Jamie, are we starting Brandon Cooks?
Yes. He has an amazing track record against the Jaguars, as you would expect. I believe his worst game in his last 5 is 17 PPR points against them. It's a different defense. Obviously, they're going to make things uncomfortable for Davis Mills, and this pass rush should be a problem. Their defensive front should be a problem, but their secondary is still some issues. Shaq Griffin, I think, can be beat. And so in a situation where I think they're chasing points and some garbage time will matter, Brandon Cooks will find the end zone once again and build off what he did last week.
All right. Jacksonville hasn't really been so bad against wide receivers. I mean, Mike Williams had 15 yards and a touchdown. McLaurin.
They were in week 1.
They were in, yes, cumulatively they were. They gave up 4 touchdowns. Yes, that was bad. But yardage wise, not so bad. I'm not even going to ask Keith because I know he's starting Brandon Cooks. All right, next game is Chargers and Cleveland. Keith, good Amari Cooper or bad Amari Cooper?
I rank him right next to Gabe Davis, which is the range of guys who could either make you feel terrible for starting them or make you feel terrible for sitting them. I don't have a good way to know. I know Jacoby Brissett said we can't have him going 1 for 9. And the last time they talked about getting Amari Cooper more involved, he had a big game. So I think he'll be not terrible, but he's a number 3 wide receiver that has top 12 upside and bottom 12 downside.
Yeah, I watched most of the routes, and he saw a lot of A.J. Terrell, who's a very good young cornerback. I don't know if he's going to see a lot of J.C. Jackson, who's another great young cornerback on Sunday. All right, Las Vegas at Kansas City. Jamie, should we start Clyde Edwards-Helaire and then tell everyone to sell high after the game?
Yes, that should be the theme of the season. Yes, you should absolutely start Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Did get an interesting comment from Pete Prisco on our show on Wednesday, where he suggested that maybe Isaiah Pacheco is going to start to take some more carries based on how the team is operating. I found it odd coming off a 19 carry game for Edwards-Helaire, but as Pete noted, they still throw to their running back so much that he should have the opportunity to still be successful week in, week out. So yes, you should start Clyde Edwards-Helaire until further notice.
Over Josh Jacobs?
No, Josh Jacobs is in a little bit better spot just based on his workload right now.
By the
I'm
way,
so curious with Jacobs. I don't want to say he's a sell high candidate, but it is interesting. Like last year, his reception totals popped when there was no Waller and there was no Kenyon Drake, and right now his reception total is popping because there's no Hunter Renfrow on the field. And so, will that continue when everybody's healthy in terms of what the Raiders were expecting with their weapons?
19 carries for Clyde. 9 of them actually came in clock killing time. 9 of them came when they were up by, I think, 17 points in that game in the fourth quarter. The carries were very even before that between him and Pacheco. Cincinnati at Baltimore. Heath, are you starting a Ravens wide receiver? We know Bateman's banged up. Duvernay 40% rostered. Are you starting a Ravens wide receiver?
And they just got Andy Isabella, so maybe that'll be the guy. No, I am not starting a Ravens wide receiver. If Bateman's healthy, then he's a boom bust number 3. Duvernay's a boom bust flex if there's no Bateman.